July 23rd at 7:10 p.m. Please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather in service for our community. Grant this council wisdom to make decisions that are fair, thoughtful, and in the best interest of all our residents. Help us to listen with respect, lead with integrity, and work together with unity and compassion. May all that we do this evening bring honor to you and benefit those we are called to serve. In your holy name we pray. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mission statement. The City of Kirby is dedicated to delivering excellent municipal services to our community in a physically responsible manner. Please call roll.
Councilmember Don Thomas.
Present.
Councilmember Maria Lozano.
Here.
Councilmember Christopher Garza.
Here.
Councilmember Joe Molina. Councilmember Susan Street.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sylvia Apodaca. Mayor Janisha Carter.
Here.
Now we're going.
Thank you. Moving on to 5, citizens participation. Okay, first up we have Harold Shaw. Please step up to the podium.
Harold Shaw, 3310 Letter Road Drive. Just make sure everybody's on the same sheet of music, because I know what communication has been completed. But under item 9H, consideration for members of the Crime Control Board, Cassandra Jones has turned as a refactor of application, so she will not no longer be on application for the board. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Roger Romans. Please step up to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This evening is going to be under 9C, a report on open records request. What I'm concerned with is not so much the numbers, but what actions are being taken to facilitate and ease the process. If it's difficult to retrieve information in this day and age of technology, it seems to be there's a breakdown in the system. So included in the report, can we hear what steps are being taken that eases the city secretary's job of compiling this information? Okay, the numbers game, if you have a bad system, it can take a long time to do 10 things. If you have a good system, it can take you a short time to do a lot of things. I would like to hear what type of improvements are being done with our record keeping and our data retrieval ability so that it can be done more efficiently. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we begin, I forgot to read this at the beginning. Good evening. Before we begin tonight's meeting, I would like to review the City of Kirby's rules of decorum and meeting procedures. The purpose of these rules is to ensure that city business is conducted in an open, fair, respectful, and productive manner. We welcome public participation and encourage citizens to share their views with the council. At the same time, all participants must conduct themselves in a manner that allows the meeting to proceed efficiently and respectfully. For members of the public, anyone wishing to address the council must complete the required citizen participation form and be recognized by the chair before speaking. Speakers should come to the podium, state your name for the record, or direct all comments to the council as a body rather than individual council members, staff, or members of the audience. Citizens' comments are generally limited to 3 minutes. Conversations with audience members, personal grievances, political campaigning, threats, intimidation, profanity, personal attacks, and other disruptive conduct are not permitted. Applause, booing, shouting, whistling, stomping, or other conduct that disrupts the orderly conduct of the meeting is prohibited. Cell phones and electronic devices must be silenced. For council members shall be respectful and shall speak only after being recognized by the chair. Members shall not interrupt another speaker except to raise a point of order. Debate should be confined to the merits of the issue before the council. Personal attacks, ridicule, accusations regarding motives, profane language, or comments intended to hold another council member or staff member in contempt are not permitted. Council members are limited to 5 minutes on a question. Enforcement of decorum. As presiding officer, I am responsible for maintaining order and ensuring compliance with these rules. Any person who disrupts the meeting will first be asked to cease the conduct. If the behavior continues, the individual may be ruled out of order, removed from the meeting, or otherwise subject to enforcement measures authorized by city ordinance and Texas law. The city of Kirby fully respects the public's right to express criticism of city policies, actions, programs, and services. However, that right must be exercised in a manner that does not disrupt the meeting or interfere with the ability of the council to conduct the public's business. Thank you for your cooperation and commitment to maintaining a respectful and productive meeting environment. We will now proceed with the agenda. Okay, moving on to 6A, consideration and action on meeting minutes. 6A, discussion and possible action on regular meeting minutes, July 9th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we accept the minutes for, July 9th, 2026. I'll second that.
I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes for July 9th, 2026, first by Councilmember Lozano, second by Councilmember McCormick. Please call roll.
Councilmember McCormick,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Councilmember Garza,
Yes.
Councilmember Molina, Councilmember Street,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca, Mayor Greider.
Yes,
Motion passed.
thank you. Moving on to 7A, presentation, stormwater quality, the stormwater management, Gibler Engineering.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Kyle Stengel. I'm the stormwater manager for the city of Kirby. I'm with Gibler Engineering. I've been with Gibler Engineering since 2023 and have been keeping up with y'all's stormwater management program and keeping the city of Kirby in compliance with the state of Texas stormwater general permit. I have a short little 10-slide presentation here. And, you got a clicker for me? Awesome, thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, it's not on. That would help. Okay, so in these, I don't know if you can see the presentations on the outside or on the ground, but I wasn't sure if it was on the outside screens. But for the, I just want to make sure everybody can see the presentation. For the regulatory system, it starts with the EPA. So that is the federal level of environmental protection. And they're responsible for creating the environmental standards and laws that are given by the Clean Water Act. They work with states to implement the regulations in which it gets passed down. They then end up at the TCEQ, which is the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. They implement the actual programs in parallel with the EPA, along with creating stricter regulations more specific to the state of Texas and their municipalities that own their stormwater systems, which would be the city of Kirby. And then from there, the city of Kirby obtains authorization to discharge surface waters through that municipal separate storm system. And we further implement stricter regulations based on the actual city's ordinance from there. And every 5 years, there is an NOI that needs to be submitted, which is a notice of implementation that basically lets the state of Texas know that y'all are wanting to continue to discharge stormwater into receiving waters in the state of Texas. So in the stormwater management plan, there are 6 elements that are implemented. The first one being public education and outreach, followed by public involvement and participation. The third being illicit discharge detection and elimination, also IDE for short. The fourth being construction site stormwater runoff control. Fifth is post-construction stormwater management. And the sixth is good housekeeping for municipal operations. So going into the first one, public outreach and education. The city is required to maintain the websites with up-to-date information regarding things like the permit status, so whether it's active or in renewal, or if it's been changed in any way. That also includes the annual report, which has been posted. We also keep track of storm drain markings, and we survey the storm drains within the city on a pretty regular basis, but we have different zones broken down where we inspect the storm drains every year. And we also provide fact sheets for the city to use. For number 2, so this was split into 2 different groups as of this permit cycle, which is a 5-year cycle. It used to be public involvement, participation, and outreach all in one program, and they split it up into 2 separate ones. So it's more or less what the city has been doing already, which is requesting public feedback in the form of questionnaires. We do every other year. The city issues questionnaires to the residents to submit any type of stormwater concerns they might have, whether it be somebody polluting surface waters, maybe a car has been sitting in the street for too long that's dripping oil and it's noticeable, things of that nature, discharges, people dumping. We want to make sure the citizens are getting their voices in, and so part of that is issuing the questionnaire. We make sure to remind the city to do that every other year. We also help with the fact sheets and the newsletters, and even out here in the front atrium area, there are fact sheets posted on those boards up there. On to number 3, the IDE inspections. So part of our responsibility is to maintain the storm sewer system map for the city of Kirby, whether that be updating new inlets, like on Ackerman Road. There was one added there just recently with the redoing of that street. So we updated the stormwater map to make sure to reflect those changes. We also inspect all the city zones, so we've broken down Kirby into 8 zones, essentially for our way of keeping track of which areas we've inspected. We also have responded to and reported any illegal discharges in the city, which come forth from public works. Typically, they'll contact us if there's any issues. And we've also made sure to enforce the ordinance in those scenarios where applicable. Number 4, construction site stormwater runoff control. We do review any incoming construction applications that require any type of disturbance of the soils. And so we make sure to review those in a very timely manner for the city to ensure that they are complying with the city's ordinances when it comes to stormwater enforcement. So in the picture, for example, that is the Bubble Bath Car Wash here by QT when it was under construction. We perform site inspections on a monthly basis for any active construction in the city. We also respond to any complaints, and we make make sure that all construction sites are in compliance. During these inspections, we send reports out directly to the contractors, and we make sure we maintain a technical manual with all the DMPs that the city enforces. For number 5, post-construction stormwater management, again, there's the bubble bath car wash. A great example of a large-scale construction that finished just recently in Kirby. We do post-construction EMPs to make sure that everything that was stabilized after the fact stays that way. We don't want grass flowing off down into the creek, things like that. We do long-term inspection and maintenance programs as well for these sites in case they are in any type of violation. And we enforce the ordinance where applicable. And then for the last one, number 6, good housekeeping for municipal operations. The last part of our program is to ensure that any type of public work activities is being conducted in a proper and clean manner. So whether that be tree trimming, mowing, anything that requires digging, we come out on a kind of regular basis. It's more so whenever the public works is available. But we make sure to document and ensure that all state practices are being met during those activities. Part of that is at the very bottom. We do employee training every year for the public works staff. So we make sure to gather everyone in the public works department. I put together a very comprehensive training for the staff every year. We make sure that we are reminding them of proper procedures to take when fueling or if there's a spill of any sort while they're on the job. So included in that is contractor requirements and oversight, proper disposal of waste materials, so that would be hazardous waste like chemicals, petrol, things of that nature. And yeah, that's part of number 6, good housekeeping. And then all of that gets reported to the TCEQ every year, so that's part of the annual reporting requirements for the city. That was submitted on April 1st of this year, well within the deadline of when it needs to be submitted. That includes the status of compliance with permit conditions. We do a result summary of collected and analyzed information. If there's any proposals to the stormwater management program, we make sure to put that in there as well. We do a description and schedule of plan implementation throughout the year. And the last factoid there is the city of Kirby has maintained a high classification with the TCEQ, which is the highest level of classification that the city achieves with the TCEQ. And with that, that's my presentation.
Thank you so much.
And any questions from council, Megan?
Thank you. Moving on to presentation 7B, cybersecurity, multi-factor authenticator, Lone Star Cypress, Paul Mann.
Good evening, Mayor Ryder, City Council. Thank you very much for having me. Kind of the purpose for tonight is to kind of do an introduction where we're supposed to come back in August and do a further deep dive into this. What we're planning with the city leadership here is implementing multi-factor authentication, and we're looking at doing this in a couple of phases. So I'll kind of first talk to you about kind of. password is just not enough. You know, most of us already utilize multi-factor authentication in everyday lives, maybe credit card, or using some sort of action. In an environment such as this, stolen password not only gives you access to the email, but it gives you access to much more resources within the organization. The multi-factor authentication helps shut that door, so that even if a password is compromised, there's still another barrier between them and your resources. So that's really the big importance of it. How it works, and most people are using already. You log into your system as you do today, then you use an app on your phone to then have a code type that in to verify it is you. So that is the same process as this. So our first phase is really to protect the email system within the city citywide. Office 365 is what we're using. Office 365 does come built in with MFA, so this is really a zero cost to the city to implement this, and will be phase one so that we can get that across the city to all people. We'll be rolling it out through departments and utilizing that, working with city leadership to make sure that over the next weeks, months, whatever the schedule is, that we do get that implemented. Yes, ma'am.
We can hardly hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're mumbling and I can't hear you and I know the expert can't hear you.
Is that better?
Councilmember Street,
I raised my hand.
I did not recognize you.
I apologize. So our first phase, again, is really to go after the city overall and the email protection, so we'll be doing that within Office 365. So that'll be our goal. The second phase is really more geared towards sieges, which is with the police department and dispatch. So that will be a little bit more detailed down to the desktop level, which we'll be coming back to speak to you about in phase two. Go there from there. All right, so what happens next, we'll roll out phase one, work with city leadership, start rolling out phase one for the Office 365. Again, come back in August, review more detail, so we have all the information we need for phase two. And then we can put together a full plan after August. One thing I do want to point out is one thing that we've had an issue with, this by no means gives the city access to anyone's devices. So it's an app that's not owned by the city. So we load that on there. You're getting no access, there's no tracking of any kind, no data, any kind being transferred. Any questions?
Council, the reason why we are discussing this is the state of Texas implemented a program. So I think I came to you all 2 years ago or a year ago. First in 2023, came back and did it in 2025, where I asked all elected officials, appointed officials, and staff to do two things. One was three things. One was public information, one was open meetings, and then one was cybersecurity training. Do the training classes and save the certification so we can put it in folders. This is going to become more and more important. The state of Texas, as defined by Chapter 2054 of the Texas Government Code, local governments, including county, municipalities, special districts, school districts, or political subdivisions. The local government must use a certified training program. All government employees, elected officials, appointed officials are required to complete annual cybersecurity training. Why is this important? The document that I'm providing to you is the certification that we're going to submit to the state. The deadline is August 31st for us to submit this. What it is you'll watch a 20-something minutes course online, print out your certificate saying you watched it, answer the questions, and provide that to City Hall, and we'll put it in your folders. This goes for all employees, goes for all elected officials, and it goes for appointed officials.
section 551.071, consultation with attorney. Number 2, on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules on professional conduct of the state bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter. So that will allow us to go in and discuss in private what he needs to tell you.
Okay, now we're under number 2. Okay, so, the city,
Mayor, it is noted at the bottom of the agenda that y'all reserve the right to go into executive session on any of the above matters.
correct. The City of Kirby City Council will convene an executive session on the following items. On this item, Texas Government Code Section 551.0712, consultation with attorney under Texas Government Code. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session.
Do I have a second?
I don't know, it's 4.
Well, that's what they were gonna tell you.
That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, so you can't. Okay, well we try, no, I mean, we tried and then, okay, all right. Please make that a public note of the agenda. Moving on to 7C, the San Antonio LGBTQ plus Chamber of Commerce. We got the dates messed, so they were supposed to come on the 9th, and then we didn't have the quorum, and, it was not the 9th. It was, I don't even remember, but it was a day that we didn't have a quorum, they actually came. And so, they were able to come this time, so.
Or moving it to the next.
Yeah, we'll just have to move it. I'll get back with them, because they really do want to. Okay, moving on to 7D, City of Kirby Parks and Recreation Engagement Survey.
Good evening, citizens, council, stakeholders to the city of Kirby. I come before you to share some information about where we are with City of Kirby's Parks and Recreation Engagement Survey. Many of you know we started talking about this in November, December of 2025, along with several workshops that we had. When we came back to you all in December, we said we were going to extend it because only about 22 to 25 people had actually done the survey. We're coming fast forward with all the great things that has happened in our community, with the city council and leadership approving the $15 million certificate obligation, which has a component where we're going to be investing $2 million in critical infrastructure into our parks and recreation areas. With that, we are currently working on a grant with the Texas Parks and Wildlife. The first time ever the city of Kirby has applied for this grant. There's 2 grants. The first grant is $750,000, and the second one is $150,000, which is a total of $900,000. There's a 50% match for those particular grants, and that will allow the city to be able to now have $2.9 million to invest in our parks here in the city of Kirby. What's important is yesterday we had a town hall meeting specifically about this in our forward movement progress. We had some of our partners on the call and citizens in the community engaging specifically around parks. I wanted to put this on the agenda because I found it very important. Our goal is the survey that's on your seat, the survey that we'll put back online. I asked all council members to take the survey, all citizens to take the survey. We're looking for 100 people, which will bring our numbers to kind of a good point. So I can come back and give you some of the findings, top priorities, and things data that came from this particular assessment. I do have some information, but I want to wait. We're really a little under, so we have about 60 something, and there's been about 10 in the last 2 days, and so the goal is 100. And so I'm imploring and asking all the residents who haven't taken the survey to do that. The survey is on your seat. You just fill it out and leave it, and we'll pick it up. And those of you who are online, we'll post it online again for you to be able to take it using one of the research tools that we have. Again, this is very important because we want to make sure that the things that go into this park, that go into this grant, are the feedback from this community.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to 7E. Oh, you have some questions for the survey? Okay. Councilor Lozano, Director Gomez, keep her time.
So, on the Parks and Rec, this is a survey that's already been done before, right? So you're just collecting additional? Is
Yes.
that- Okay.
Yeah, this is the one that we put out maybe starting in October. Numbers when we actually finalized it, but we're opening it back up because we have an opportunity to get $900,000 into grants, and having 100 people surveyed will help us to be able to be more competitive.
Okay. And then, now are these anonymous or do you collect the names?
No, there's no names you put on here. It's, they're the only identifiable demographics is on the back, where it says, how long have you lived in the city, and things of that nature, but nothing that says my name is such and such.
Okay, so just how do we keep track, or how do we know, like, somebody didn't, if I go and complete the survey today, like, I will go tomorrow and complete the survey again?
It's not against the law, but we hope that people will just have, that there's no controls for that. If you did the survey on the computer, or if you did the survey on paper, or if you picked up all 50 on the chairs and filled them out, that means you want to get your voice heard. That's all it means. So, but I know that one thing I'll say, I know many council members have not filled out the survey, and so hopefully we will lead by example, which is why we're bringing it back.
Okay, just, 7 of us here, but, again, I think my concern would be, the same individuals maybe filling out the form, and those numbers to me would be skewed. They would be.
Like all surveys in every city of San Antonio, any survey you fill out for CNN, there's no, unless you're paid for your polling, there's no necessarily, there's some controls based upon, but again, this is just a survey to get opinion, so everyone's entitled to theirs.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Moving on to 7E, Ackerman Road Culvert Replacement Project, Bay Medina, Maine.
Council of residents, as Mr. Carl from Bay Medina Maine comes to and is prepared to talk about this. As you know, we've talked about Ackerman Culvert for some time. We've had some requests by several members in leadership in reference to having additional conversation about this, and so it's on the agenda for you to hear from the city's engineer, and also you have a document that was put on your seat in reference to one of the different options.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Councilman. This is for the Ackerman Road culvert replacement. We've been working on it for, I guess, a couple of years. We prepared the plans last year and ended up having kind of the main set of plans was to replace the existing corrugated metal pipe. There's 2 48-inch corrugated metal pipes in there that are collapsed and not functioning very well. And we were proposing with the 2 5x5 box culverts, and had an estimate back then, a year ago, of about $370,000 at the time. They asked us to look at it in relation just with 48-inch RCP pipes, and that price came in, estimated price, we had never did this, at about $222,000. I've gone back and looked at the estimates, and of course, it's a
have any questions? Council Member Street.
How long will it take to put these in?
I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it, so I'm doing it.
How long does it take to put them in when they do that?
Which,
The plates?
the plates themselves,
Uh-huh.
it should only take about a week at most.
Well, I know we asked for this like 3 years ago, maybe longer than that ago. But I'm glad we finally got some numbers. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all your questions?
That's it.
Councilmember Garza.
I'd just like to know, is this the only bid that we got for this?
For the plates, this is
Yeah.
the only bid we got.
It's the only one, okay. I mean, it says here we're gonna get 5 plates, for this price, and we get to keep the plates afterwards, which is great. I was just kinda wondering, kinda how that setup is supposed to go. I was thinking it was either gonna be 2 really big plates, or, cause they're gonna fill it in, they're just gonna put them on top. I thought it was gonna be something that went from edge to edge over the culvert. Is that how it's supposed to go? I mean,
It's not gonna go edge to edge over the culvert, it's gonna be edge to edge of the pavement. And so basically, you're gonna fill in the dip with asphalt, and then put the plate on top. You don't really wanna put the plate, with nothing underneath it.
Yeah.
At least this will stay. And of course, as you can see, the quote for the plate is the majority of the work
yeah.
on there, so it's fairly expensive for the plates themselves, but you get to keep the plates. Now, in the future, if you end up replacing the culvert, you could have the contractor either haul off the plates, haul it to the city yard, or you could try to resell it on there.
Gotcha.
But the majority cost is in the plates. The other price is reasonable. Jay Sanchez is a good contractor, we've worked with him in the past
Okay.
on there, and they would do a good job.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
Council, this is important, so the $42,000 just for the plates and the cost to move them. Once the plates are over, to move them will be a cost each time we move them. This was something that was asked as far as a temporary, solution. But we need to take into consideration, all the factors in reference to the purchasing the plates, putting them down, and then what we do with them when they're done. The goal is still to move forward on this particular project, here in the next couple of months. And so I think it's important to make sure we're prioritizing our timetable, but also just hearing the news, just like you all heard it for the first time in reference to what we call price escalation. Each year we put this off, the more prices go up. So we were set, and we've talked to other entities. We've had Mayor Ryder respond and send information to Judge Kai from Bear County. Commissioner Calvert's working with some of our partners in the city of San Antonio in reference to the cost. So we had a specific cost we asked for and or support. And so I think the amount we had, the 380 and some change, I think Mr. Bain said it's now 450. And so, or 425. And so the goal with having all these options is also something we could talk about this weekend in reference to how do we prioritize this? Are we trying to do this year in reference to fixing it all the way for the next 50 years? Or will this prolong our next movement? So putting in place is an opportunity, just like filling it in is cost less. But the problem is it's going to continue to remain an issue unless we truly fix it.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes, so remind me again, Mr. Jones, does this have to go out to RFPs or RFQs or anything like that because of the cost?
No, that's right.
Okay. Do you know, Mr. Bain, how long it would last if they do the asphalt and then the road plates,
heavy trucks go over it, and they're settling, and the problem, of course, is your trench and your pipes underneath.
Right.
And I brought pictures of what they look like existing. So it's in pretty bad shape as far as the existing condition underneath there. I know nobody's probably walked underneath
You
it
passed.
on there, but you've got trees and you've got the upstream plates are, upstream pipes are almost completely filled in on there.
That's all I have.
Councilmember McCormick?
Thank you for this information. I have two part questions. I know we just received some funding and things along those lines, but my first question is, when is the timeline we think we need to start the actual repair, meaning get the funding and voting and everything with the city manager? I ask that because if we're gonna put the plates down, I want to make sure that the plates are gonna last long enough, in place to not cause any damage while we're waiting for the work to be done. So the reason I request the quote for the plate is, one is something like a Band-Aid to hold us until we could actually start the work. So I guess to rephrase my questions to you is, will this plate sustain us where we won't have any injuries to any of our community residents and people passing through, to hold us until we can get to the point we can repair this permanently?
Well, it should maintain for a reasonable length of time, as long as you start the process of replacing the culverts in the near future. That would say 6 months on there, start the process. You know, the contractor will do it in stages once we decide which method to go as far as replacement. And what we're doing is we have a traffic control plan where we add paving on one side and move traffic over and build half of it, and then we move traffic back over to the other half. But the plates should maintain, the condition once you get them installed, and should be able to hold that load that's going across on there. Now, there will be, you know, as we all know, plates move a little bit, so there will be monitor that, and there will be probably a little bump up and down on the plates, during the life of when they're on there, so that will have to be looked at and maintained on there. But you won't have a big bump that you have now. Correct.
Thank you. And my second question is for Dr. Rowland. At the timeline that we have right now, do you foresee us hitting this project? You know, I know you say in a couple of months, but let's use the 6-month scenario. Will we be able to get this started within the 6 months with the funding and things that we voted for?
I think if we're given 6 months, we will be within our time frame to be able to get the Acton Road project started. So I will remember Mr. Medina Bain's engineering firm did a full report. They have the engineering plans already done since July of 2025. So we've already paid for that. Right now, where our issue was the money for the construction. We were trying to get, exhaust all processes to try to get money to help fund this project. We approved monies coming in to help on infrastructure projects that can help move this project forward. We'll just have to come back before council to see if you all are gonna prioritize putting $450,000 on this particular project and when. Can it be done? Yes. Do we wanna do it? Yes. We were just wanting, we staff was wanting to at least try to get to October to be able to make sure that we successfully completed our grants from 2024, 2025, so we then can go back to some of our partners to see if they will help with the funding. Can the city afford to do all of it on its own? Not really, because of the support of what city council voted for. We could be able to help support it, but again, $450,000 is a lot of money specifically to go to that, but it is needed. We're saying if we get our two projects, 2024, 2025 CDBG done, we can then go back to our partners within our 6-month time frame to ask them to help us with the cost. So either way, if we get our projects done for CDBG 24, 25, that's in what, 2 months, October 1. We will know if we're gonna be at it alone, or we're gonna know if we're gonna have support. Either way, the 450 is gonna be there. The question is what you all asked, what you specifically asked in reference to this presentation. Do we want to spend the $65,000 to get the plate? It could help us for the 6 months. The question, but also putting the plate, does that put additional weight and pressure on what's already there?
Well, the plate should help relieve the pressure on the trench and the pipes itself.
Okay.
And so I think what you've done in the past is fill it up with asphalt, and of course that just puts more load, continued load on the trench and the pipes. And so I think the reason that y'all asked for the place is to try to reach that. That should help on keeping that from settling anymore.
So then if it was,
That's a good idea. That's just, of course, we all know plates, right on plates is not the best thing, but it's better than getting a 12-inch dip right in the middle of the road. So I think that's a good thing to do. Of course, the plates are the most expensive part of the process. And so that's at least maybe you can get the plates, either reuse them or sell them. Plates are good plates, so they can be reused.
the pictures that you will have before you, those are protected this week. And so,
I know that those pictures were taken a while back when there was some question about it. So that, the other pictures we'd sent before of the dip was this week or just recently. These pictures were taken a few months ago as far as in the channel and so on there. But I don't think it's changed a whole lot. Those pictures, pretty bad.
Okay, so obviously the dip is a hot topic. I know we've asked about the plates, that has came up several times. My thing is, so could we possibly, so we know we have the CEO, those funds are coming in, and we know we have some money set aside for infrastructure. Could we not go ahead and start the project? Like, what's projected of those funds actually coming in? For the CEO?
they will be here they'll be here in August.
Okay, so is there any way we can start the project?
Start the project how? So currently, I'll say again, the city of Kirby has invested money already. We have the engineering, well, it depends on what project. Are you talking about
I'm
the
talking about
place
the
or
work.
the actual work?
I'm talking about the work.
Right.
I understand it's shovel ready,
It's
the
shovel.
plans, yes, I'm talking about the actual work.
It's shovel ready now. The question is that $450,000 that was allocated to support. It can
So it
go.
can't happen.
It can
Okay,
happen.
so the point is, okay, so it can't happen, so the council could vote and say, hey, we want the 425,000 or whatever the number was, we would like that project to get started. could we get it started? I'm saying if the funds would be here by, let's say September 1, right? If the funds would be here, could we not go ahead and start the work?
Yeah, well, yes, we can put it on the agenda to start the process. They will then come back, their plans, are there. They will give us the process on how the work would go in reference to the timeline. So we just need to give us the directive to move forward on this.
And there might be even a possibility, I know you said 6 months, but also if we just start the work now, possibly it could be done by the end of the year.
It could be started by the end. The problem is, of course, give us direction. You know, we'll always say what the way the plans are designed now. So review and make sure that they're up to date. Let's say we did these plans a year ago. We have the project managers, then we would have to advertise for bid. So that takes 3 weeks to 4 weeks to bid the project. Then we would evaluate the contractors. Hopefully, we would have 3 or 4 contractors bid. We evaluate the contractors, we make a recommendation or to award the contract, and that would have to go before the council. Then the contractor would have to, sign the contract, give them a notice to proceed, and he would have to order the material, the pipe material or the box. And so that, of course, all that takes time.
Projected.
So
Weeks.
we could be ready at your next council meeting, so that would be August 13th.
Right.
So you could say, give us the go-ahead on August 13th, then we would advertise right after that, take bids in the middle of September, we could award the contract in October, and we could start the project in November.
Okay, so August 13th, we can put on the council meeting to actually discuss and take action on this. Then by the 10th, once if it passes, then by September 10th, you should be able to do the bid all that should come in.
So we should have the bid, so it would be your next council meeting.
Okay,
It's about 30 days for the bid.
Okay.
And then do the award, so it would be, we would have to evaluate the contractors and make a recommendation.
Okay, so possible work could start possibly the end of October.
Right.
Okay. I would like to put this on the next agenda for discussion and possible action.
And Dr. Roland, I guess this was just for discussion.
Yes.
Yes, it's just for.
So you do possible action on either thing, either the place or proceed. forward
Yes.
with their-
Yes, for the 13th, we'll have it on the agenda. And I'll talk with you prior to.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I guess we're.
Mr. May, no, thank you. You're good, thank you. Go ahead. Do you have something?
I was gonna say, have him just give us an update on the next one, practice, when you get done.
Okay, so Mr. Jones, regarding, I know that there was a motion made and it died on 7B. And I know Mr. Paul, did he already leave?
Yes, ma'am.
He left.
Chief is gonna do it.
Oh, okay. My question is, I think because the council that maybe not understood that the city manager, the chief of police, and the attorney wanted us to go in executive session about that item we were on was 7B cybersecurity, and that there was a reason why we need to go in executive session about something for cybersecurity. So my question is there a way that somebody can make a motion to bring it back? Because it's very important.
You didn't even get a second, I don't think.
We didn't even get a second, no.
So, I mean, it wasn't voted on one way or another, so if a motion is made, then you can get another, if you can get a second, then it can go up or down and vote on it.
Okay,
If you can get another motion,
can I get I would like to know if somebody would like to make a motion to go discuss 7B cybersecurity, that will go in executive session for the Texas Government Code Section 551.0712 about cybersecurity, because, what is your question? Can you pull your mic down, please?
Is there any reason why this can't just wait until we go into executive session? I mean, let's get through the meeting first, and then we can do all executive session all at once.
if that's what you choose, you just need to add it on there at the end.
Add it to the end.
The chief will be here,
Okay, yeah.
We'll all be
Mr.
here.
Mann's, yeah. Okay, okay.
since Mr. Mann's gone.
Mr. Mann's gone now, okay.
We can do that.
All right. Okay, so we will do that now that one of our top people's gone, we'll move it to meeting. Okay, 8A, Ackerman Road Project.
Okay, I'm back. I think we're getting close. There was 2 spots of storm sewer that needed to be repaired. We've done a CIP to fix a number of spots in this storm sewer based on the televising that needed to be fixed. 2 of them did not take. So we asked the contractor to go in and fix those 2 spots. They've been working on it this week, so they have, I think the second spot they were working on yesterday when I was out here. So they should be finished this week, repairing those. They had to dig down in the storm sewer and replace the top of the storm sewer, because it was damaged on there. And so that should be the last thing that is left on that. We're still under a 2-year warranty, so anything else that comes up during that, it should close everything out, and then we just have retainage. That's all that's left that we need.
Councilmember Street.
You said it's a 2-year warranty. When does the warranty start? Does it start when you've signed off and everything's done, or does it start when they put it in the first time?
Well, it should start when it was substantially complete, and so it's been substantially complete except for these minor issues.
So do we have a date that it
I
started,
do have a
just so we
date.
can keep track?
Yes, we do have a date, but I don't have it off the top of my head
Thank you.
on there, but yes, we do have a date.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, Councilmember Garza.
My question is, if they are already ripping up some of the area, I mean, is that gonna have any effect on the stability of that whole road? Because I know that, AT&T one time went through and started putting down the fiber optic cables, and pretty much everywhere where they cut, it seems like there's now depths or some kind of like push on that. So I'm just wondering, I mean, is there anything that's preventing, those areas that they're digging up to become like weak points for that street?
Well, these 2 areas you're digging up right now, there was areas they dug up in the past, a few months ago, that were trench failures that they had to repair because of this. And they fixed those. These 2 areas are very shallow, so there shouldn't be theoretically anything that would create an issue.
Yeah.
But that's why we have a 2-year warranty, because we're watching those areas for sure and make sure they go back.
Yeah, we also have an area over here on, what was it, I don't know, it's right here, where it had like caved in. Should we be concerned of any other spots that are like that? Was it like an anomaly, or was it, maybe they put a whole pipe through there or something? Was there a reason?
Well, they ended up doing spot repairs on some of the sewer mains, and so those spot repairs, you've got to be careful about how.
Gotcha.
And so those potentially could be issues down the road, but I don't think we would see them for 2 years if you have additional settlement.
Okay.
That happens.
And as far as giving us the date of when the warranty started, is that something that you can email to us? All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilman Lozano.
Yes, do you know if there's any other, problem spots or anything that they're gonna be working on, before they sign off or?
Well, there's been, for the past few months, there has been spots, and we notified them, and they come out and fix
email that to Dr. Rowland and then he can email that out. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to AB 2026 City of Kirby grants.
Citizens, council, visitors, and stakeholders. This is just an update to provide to council. I know there's some questions and concerns last week about things that we're doing. There may be some additional questions and concerns this week. So I want to just make sure that we're providing information updates on what we're doing as a community moving forward. So the first grant we talked about, you all have approved, and we've updated again. I just want to provide additional updates so nobody forgets kind of where we're at. The first one is our what they call community project funding, which are congressional earmarks accepted by Congressman Cassar. What the city submitted two, one for a new water well for $2.2 million, and number two for asbestos water line replacement project for $1.9 million. Once you submit that process, it goes through it's called community project funding, goes through the U.S. House of Appropriations Committee process, was approved, and voted to move to the overall agency funding, which is going to be in September. Funds should be available around February 2027. I like the last update I shared that we submitted 2.2 million and 1.9, but I shared with you all that they reduced that amount to 750,000 for each grant. So $1.5 million of free money the first time the city of Kirby has had the opportunity to participate, working with our federal elected officials. The Texas Water Development Board's Clean Water State Revolving Fund. This was for sewer lines in the city of Kirby. We requested $5.8 million. This is a loan with loan forgiveness. We are waiting the final analysis to determine the percentage of forgiveness. Based on the Texas Water Development Board's conversation, loan forgiveness could be anywhere from about 65 to 80%. Texas Water Development Board, Texas Water Development Board accepted our application, and we are awaiting their decision. Once they accept it, they'll then have us do a full plan, and that's when we'll have full engineering. So right now, we've just been working with the engineering firm, and we did preliminaries. This is the final round where they approve our plans and engineering, and awards decision will be in September. Texas Water Development Board Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, which is a separate one that we had the opportunity to apply for as well. This body approved that with the resolution a month ago, or more than a month ago. This is for the water well. We requested $3.6 million. This is also loan forgiveness, and we're waiting for final analysis to determine the percentage of the forgiveness. Based on the Texas Water Development Board, loan forgiveness should be again 65 to 85% because of our the demographics and the things that how our community ranks in reference to certain percentages. They've accepted our application, and we're awaiting their decision to move forward in the process. This is the final round where they approve the plan and engineering, and this too will be decided in September 2026. If you don't remember those loans that I just talked about and the percentage that we're talking about needing, so like whether it's 20% or 25% or 30%, like I was very, that I've been talking about, 70% forgiveness, 30% is what we need to come up with. That's, though these projects are We also put for EPA, Water Tech, Environmental Protection Agency, for those who may not know. Presently working with EPA on a water well project for the city. EPA site visit leads to the pre-engineering and development. EPA pays 100% of the cost, which includes pre-engineering up to the design phase. Environmentals for the project. Once complete, EPA will help have funded around $450,000 of this project to help us as a technical assistance. This also is one of the first times that the city of Kirby has had the opportunity to apply for this. There's no matching funds required either, so it'd be free, or it's free in kind to the city of Kirby. We also submitted AFG firefighter equipment grant. It's about $125,000 was submitted the first time the city of Kirby has had the opportunity to submit a grant of this magnitude. This is going to help us, our grant. We've been working with the Kirby Fire Department, and Ms. Kathy Gomez has been supporting all our grant process, making sure that we are connecting all the dots. But kudos to the fire department for getting the information. We applied for 12 SCBA harnesses, 24 cylinders, and valve assemblies. We should know in September whether the city received the funds or not. Grants we're currently working on, something that we talked about last week that you all approved, the Texas Water Development Board, the Water Source Infrastructure, WSI grant, under House Bill 500. That's where when the state put $1.2 billion for water projects. This project we submitted is for, we're requesting $2.2 million, and it's due at the end of July. This is a grant with zero match funding. Only 25 awards will be given to Texas cities with a population of 1,000 to 10. So this is going to be very competitive, but we feel that we're moving forward to see if we can get free money, no match, $2.2 million. It's worth a shot. Outdoor recreation grant. I kind of also alluded to this earlier. We're requesting through the Parks and Wildlife from the National Park Service, which is the federal program. Texas Parks and Wildlife is the state program. Applying for 2 park grants with a 50% match. It is due August 1st. Well, for us, but it's really August 3rd. So Friendship Park, we are asking for the $750,000 match at 50%. So they'll put up 750, we'll put up 750, which gives us 1.5, right? The small community park, and that's the Friendship Park. The small community grant will be for the other, our remaining parks, and that's $150,000. We'll put up $150,000, and we'll get $150,000. That give us $300,000 to invest in our critical needs of the park. So we've been, our team has been busy working on behalf of the city of Kirby, and you all should be proud of the work that they have been doing. But no one does this alone. It takes city's council vision, believing that we have the ability to get this done, and staff to be able to execute on that. Currently, you see on the agenda, we have 2 grants that we also, 2 additional grants we're submitting for that are before you tonight. With the Department of Justice called COPS grant. There are 2 grants that we are submitting. One is for technology and equipment. And then the second, the technology and equipment grant has no match. We requested about $185,000 for this type of equipment with no match. Chief Cardona has been helping us to shepherd this project along with our consultants because we are we believe heavily that Kirby deserves more. The last of the 2 grants, which was submitted or we've been working on, which is the COPS hiring grant. We talked about it before. There's a match where the city's going to pay 25% for 3 years, and then we'll keep the officer on the 4th year, which we'll pay. But then, so the federal government is going to pay 75% of that salary, and it's a reimbursement. So again, these are projects parks recreation, you see police, you see fire, you see infrastructure, everything that we said we were gonna do. And so I look forward to our retreat this weekend, where we get to hone in, where we're gonna invest these critical assets to help our community move forward. Anybody have any? Oh, we also do have three other grants that are on our radar. We have a CDBG road funding, a grant for road, sidewalks, drainage, soil and water conservation board for some structural repairs, and an EDA grant. And then today, myself and Captain Farrell was on a call with ACOG in reference to battery generators. There's some grant money available for that as well. So been very active. I think this is the most that the city has had in grants over the last 10 years combined just this year. So thank you all for your support. Any questions?
None?
Any questions? Councilmember Garza?
I have one question. I just want to know, with all these grants, if there's any way that we can get a printout of all those grants and the process and where they're at, just so, so we have a better idea of kind of how much we're asking for, how much loan forgiveness it'll be, how much it's going to end up costing us. So is there a way to get that?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's it.
Moving on, a CO Director request report May and June 2026.
Mayor, council, residents, Ms. Wilson is sick today, so we're going to ask that we'll get that next week.
All right, moving on to a D, City Leadership Retreat, Friday, July 24th, 2026, and Saturday, July 25th, 2026. Is there anything?
Council, residents, community members, stakeholders, I am excited for our leadership retreat, for the city council leadership retreat that starts tomorrow and Saturday, where we get to ground ourselves in teamwork and coalition building while setting the priorities for this community. This is not the first time we've had this opportunity, but because this work that we did last year allowed us to do exactly what we just communicated together. We have a plan. We have 7 goals that this body adopted, which allowed city staff to move forward and make those points. So I want to share the city staff leadership have been meeting all week in our retreat to make sure that what we're doing is in alignment with the vision set out by City Council. So tomorrow, for those of you who will be joining us, we'll be here from 6:30 Friday, July 24th at the City Council Chamber. We'll have our meeting that kicks off at 6:30. We'll have some conversation, have a meeting overview. We'll have someone come in and help work with us around team building coalitions. And then we'll have dinner. Then you'll have dinner together. We feel since we are family, when you break bread with each other, you sometimes learn about each other. So there's something about people eating together. And so we also go over our local elected official leadership model, which is a proven model around this country to help local elected officials understand what is called shared governance. And then I'll have a final after our person who will be helping us to work through some of grounding our community. We'll go have City Hall operations. That will be Friday. We're planning Friday to probably end around 9:30. Then we have Saturday. It's been posted for a quorum, both on the front door and on the website. We will be at 322 El Paso Street, San Antonio, Texas, 78207. We have had the opportunity to get a location donated by Women's Unlimited, where we're going to host our retreat for no cost. That's where we'll be from 9 to 5 on Saturday. Bring your papers, pens, open minds. We will be discussing the overview of the day, recap from Friday. We'll have our attorneys, a law firm, present. We will be discussing governance versus management, so we can align with each other. We'll be doing a SWOT analysis, so we can understand where we are and where we're going. And we have some new members to our team, so we want to hear all the ideas to make sure we're grounded in the direction which we've communicated, which is in our annual report. We'll establish 2026, 2027 city goals as far as where we're going. We'll review major projects and infrastructure updates, and we'll briefly talk about our comprehensive master plan. We have our departments review. We'll have lunch. Have a reflection question. What legacy do we want the city council to leave for the next generations of Kirby residents? So this will be our lunch topic. And then we'll have board department reviews. We'll have our Bailey DeBane will be there, our engineer. We'll have our law firm. We'll have my barber will also be there to, again, provide knowledge and information for issues that you all will need to make choices on that cannot be wrapped up into a 5 to 7 minute presentation. This is where we're going to get in-depth overview, but kind of more information from those particular vendors or contractors who support the city of Kirby. Again, we'll follow up by a budget overview, talking about some strategic priorities for getting some of that from you all, and then set up for next steps and then how we'll proceed. That's going to be a fun-filled day on Friday and Saturday for our city council leadership retreat. I hope everybody is ready and wears their black shirts so we can get a great picture of us working collaboratively together here in this community. It starts with city council. Any questions?
Councilmember Street.
Are we getting a copy of the proposed budget on Saturday?
Yes, ma'am. You'll get a copy of a draft budget. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Not a proposed budget.
It's the same thing, but.
Okay, well, you changed the
draft.
word.
It'll be a draft budget because the proposed budget is not due till when, Councilmember. So you've been on council for a very long time. When is it due? August what? Thank you.
I just wanted to know if we were gonna get a copy of
Yes,
this budget.
ma'am. I said you have a draft. Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Any other questions?
Questions? I'm sorry, you have something?
I said, it sounds like a good start.
Alrighty, moving on to 9A, discussion and possible action to approve the agreement between the City of Kirby and Environmental Health Group LLC.
Council, before you're in your packet, you have a contract that just needs to be renewed. I will allow our health inspector for the city of Kirby to share some remarks or anything she has for you all or answer any questions.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you, Dr. Rowland. I'm Rebecca Vera. I'm the owner of Environmental Health Group. I've been the city health inspector for the city of Kirby for the last 12 years. And in those 12 years, we have performed our due diligence inspection and consulted with any prospective food businesses, as well as man temporary events, and helped the city keep our food safety program abreast of any of the current regulations required by the Texas Administrative Code. And I look forward to another.
Can you share with them one of the top 2 changes that the state has changed, where council members may think that we currently may regulate that it now has changed?
Yes, last legislative session did bring quite a bit of change to the Texas food establishment rules, which clarified which type of inspections we could perform at certain establishments. For instance, daycares are no longer considered retail food establishments, so we will no longer be inspecting daycares as part of our retail food safety program. We have been working on options to perform different types of inspections on the daycare because daycares serve a very non-local food vendors will be part of the state's inspection repertoire. So we will no longer have local jurisdiction. That falls for every county in the state of Texas.
Any questions? Councilmember Street?
So, the temporary food vendor permit is no longer required?
Temporary food is required for those performing temporary food, like in a booth, think of a canopy or an easy up. Those are still required.
Okay, but a food truck that doesn't frequent Kirby, but comes for a festival, they will not require a permit anymore, right?
Not from the city of Kirby. We'll still ask them to produce their state license to show us that they still are participating in some sort of food safety regulatory program.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
That's the
Good.
action.
Can I have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the agreement between the City of Kirby and Environmental Health Group LLC.
Second.
I have a motion to approve the agreement between the City of Kirby and Environmental Health Group LLC. First, Councilmember Lozano, second, Councilmember Garza. Please call roll.
Councilmember McCormick?
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano?
Yes.
Councilmember Garza?
Yes.
Councilmember Molina? Councilmember Street?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca? Mayor Greider?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Moving on to 9B, discussion of possible action to accept Kirby zoning diagnostic report.
Council, we have Ms. Amanda from Denton Navarro, who is our planner for the city. You all have asked that she present or look to do a diagnostic of our zoning some months ago in 2025, and we're here to close this process out. This process has went before City Council. It went before Planning and Zoning, and it is finally back to you all. You all are the ones who directed us to bring this back to you and also have paid for this. And so the action will just be to accept this once you hear the presentation and then give us direction on what you would like for us to do. Go ahead, David. You have others?
Oh, yeah.
All right, they have.
I'll try, I've been known to speak pretty quietly, so if I end up doing that, let me know and I'll try to speak a little bit louder. Back in August 2025, we were contacted to do a zoning diagnostic, and really what this was meant to do was to review zoning code and provide you sort of with an update on where you can comply with Texas law, maybe align more with the 2021 comprehensive plan, and I know that y'all are currently working on updating that as well, and then also recommend some standard planning practices that we see across Texas, specifically for small cities such as Kirby. The way that the diagnostics is written, it's supposed to complement the ordinance, the zoning ordinance, so you should have both side by side while you're going through it. That way we didn't make it super long and actually include the citations of the code. But I'll just run through it, hopefully you have time to read it. So some general recommendations that we recommend, we did see some discrepancy between sort of the way that the numbering is formatted in the zoning ordinance. Sometimes you write out the number, sometimes it was, you would just see the number, and there seemed to be conflict in that. Sometimes it would be spelled out as 2, and then in parentheses it would say 4 or something. So we recommend sort of just getting rid of that format and just sticking to 1. We did recommend adding a site plan review process in the city So you can't require health permits, cities can still regulate that via zoning. So that's something the city should consider as well, and a lot of cities do consider sort of regulating local food vendors, either for restrooms, parking, just for the safety of the community and sort of surrounding adjacent properties. And some cities like to regulate it because they care about the brick and mortars in the city, and so it's something to consider. So I did take a look at your comprehensive plan, the one that the city currently has, which was done in 2021. And so we always recommend aligning the zoning, because state law requires it, to align with your comprehensive plan. And so within the current comprehensive plan, it does talk about construction of curbs and sidewalks and bike lanes along Ackerman Road, and so it's something to consider implementing with the development that's coming, the new development that's coming. And then we always want to encourage businesses and redevelopment infill, and that's something that the current comprehensive plan talks about. And so it also talks about improving accessibility and then also providing more predictability for developers. And I'll talk a little bit more on how you can offer that in some of the updates. So actually going into the zoning district, or the zoning ordinance itself, I'll start out with the zoning district regulations, Article 2. There seem to be some issues with the way that y'all are regulating corner lots. So a lot that's intersected by two roads. The side setbacks are pretty restricted compared to how most cities would regulate that. The way that the code is written, it requires a 15-foot side setback on each side, and it's typical to have that just for the side that is on the corner and not the internal side. So something to consider, because that can be restricted for property owners. Consolidate and increase coverage standards. So the way that they're written today, it sort of takes into account the primary structures impervious cover, and then there's the accessory structures impervious cover. And so it would just be easier to combine that into one. Most cities do that, and so it would just be an overall for each district you would be required on 50% impervious cover. Well, today it's written where the primary structures get this much impervious cover and the accessory structures get this much. To comply with state law, we recommend removing any building material regulations. House Bill 2439 restricted the city's ability to regulate building material unless you fit into certain exceptions, and unfortunately the city does not. And then one of the big things which I think would provide predictability for developers is to provide a use chart for the zoning districts. That way when developers come, it's very normal for them to go through zoning ordinance and go straight to the use chart to figure out if they're able to do that use or not. And I think currently today they call the city typically to ask if the use would be permitted. We also recommend when the use chart is adopted, the state does require certain uses to be reviewed, such as pawn shops, sexual market businesses, and hemp sales. Those are all uses that the state requires that a city permit in at least one district. And then having a process for what you would do if a use isn't listed. Typically cities will grant the city administrator or the city manager authority to sort of dictate how things would fall if it isn't a listed use in the use chart. Another big thing to consider, especially for the infill development, is a planned development district. This is a form of zoning that allows the city to sort of negotiate what can be developed on a property because it may not meet the requirements of zoning. This is a really good tool for infill development. So when you have a property that maybe won't ever meet the zoning district standards, this is something to consider. Sort of going through the districts themselves, in the R1 single family district, state law did change recently on how you can regulate home occupation, something to consider to review. Also defining accessory structures and maybe address accessory dwelling units if the city wants to permit them or was reevaluate the setbacks in the lot coverage, like I said earlier. For the R2 multifamily district, we would ask that you clarify that that district is either entirely for multifamily or that there are other uses that may be permitted in that district. Consider adding things like duplexes or townhomes for that like missing middle, that most people, can afford nowadays. And then there were a lot of changes, at the recent legislature, regarding manufactured homes, and so we recommend, reevaluating that to make sure you're complying with state law. For the commercial and industrial districts, a use chart, will be important, especially for these types of districts, and sort of defining what each district should look like. We recommend maybe considering, reducing setbacks when commercial properties are adjacent to each other, to sort of give an incentive for development. We also recommend having wireless facility standards. Most cities want to address telecommunication towers. And then we also, this was sort of a comment from us and the law firm, was to revise the light industrial district to permit some uses. Because currently today, the light industrial district requires an SUP for every use. So we want to permit certain uses on every property within the city. Another thing that we recommended changing and revising is that your non-conforming use section of the code to align with the local government code. I can't remember exactly what y'all's code says, but the state requires that if the city wants to consider a use non-conforming and to officially say that it's abandoned, it has to be inactive for 6 months. And your code, I think, is a little bit less than that. So to comply, we would change that to 6 months. Some cities, you can also choose to be a little bit more lenient and do a year. It really is up to the city. We also recommend distinguishing between how to address non-conforming uses and how to address non-conforming structures. Most cities are more strict with structures to try to get them to meet building code standards and setbacks. For the supplementary area requirements, we do recommend revising this section, sort of cleaning it up. One of the main things that, one of the main projects that I helped the city with was, there were a couple carport variances that had come through the city. We recommend reviewing that and addressing maybe some of the variances that have come forward and maybe see if, the standards should change or if the city wants to, consider keeping them. We recommend revising